Good morning. I'm Dan Hawkins, Majority Leader of the House of Representatives here in Kansas, and I come to you this morning as a wrap-up of the veto session that we just finished. For those of you who don't know, we ended the veto session at 1:30 Sunday morning. Gave us time to go home and rest up and then come back and finish up a few other things. This morning I wanted to talk a little bit about the veto session and what happened. As many people know from the press releases and stuff that went out, we had a situation where the budget, which is the one last piece that we have to do constitutionally, we have to pass a balanced budget. And we passed that finally Sunday morning, or actually later on Saturday night. But we were being held up. We actually had been working on it for 2 days, being held up by the Democrats who refused to vote for the budget. Of course, they were trying to force a Medicaid expansion vote on the Senate side. A little bit of a wrong place to be doing that. To be working on the House side and forcing the Senate doesn't work out very well, because the Senate certainly felt like they had things to do and they were trying to get to the budget, and so it really just kind of locked things up. Finally, late Saturday night, we passed the budget, and we passed the budget with our Republicans. Republicans came together to get the budget passed. The Democrats never came on. So it was nice to get that done, because truly that budget funded several things that needed to be funded, core funding for our government. And so we as Republicans were focused on funding our government to the proper level. Of course, corrections is a problem right now. We have a hard time keeping our corrections people in place, and so there was extra money for that. We've got some extra money in for our roads. Roads have been something that's been talked about in KDOT, so we funded KDOT, we funded education, we funded all of the pieces of government. So now what's left is to see if the governor is going to leave her budget intact, or if she may line item veto certain pieces of it. That remains to be seen, so we'll have to see how that goes. Once we passed the budget, then we started work on the tax plan again. If you remember back in the earlier part of the session, we passed Senate Bill 22, and Senate Bill 22 was vetoed by the governor, and we couldn't muster the votes to be able to override that veto. So one of the last things we did was to bring up a little bit different version of that tax bill. As I believe it was 2033, I believe was the number, House Bill 2033. And we changed a few things, brought the fiscal note down, and passed that with a pretty wide margin again, went across to the Senate and passed it. So it's on the governor's desk right now. We'll see if the governor vetoes it or signs it or lets it become law. Quite frankly, we hope she lets it become law, because decoupling from the federal tax system, allowing our people who can itemize on on their state tax return is a very important thing. It helps us all out. Virtually anybody who could itemize based on our current law certainly wants to and needs to, so they can save some tax dollars and keep it in their pocket. So those were the two big items that we were finishing up on. We finished that up. Now we come back on May 29th at 10 a.m. for our sine die, which is our last official day of the session. And on that day, if there are any vetoes that the governor makes, we will certainly try to override those vetoes. So stay tuned and we'll see how that goes. Keep watching, because we're going to have more videos even as the off season continues. We'll have items that we want to bring to you, so stay in tune. Thank you very much.